And I love the Invest Edge format. I love that we
too.
go live on YouTube and we have practitioners from across our community coming out and talking about what they're doing in real estate today. But Ryan Dodge came out and he said something that absolutely rang true with me. He said, you could go learn from the University of YouTube, but you're going to find contradicting information everywhere you turn.
Yep.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark, and joining me, as always, is my fearless co-host,
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Gotta say Mr.
You said Mr.
We were ad-libbing before. If you
Do I need to repeat Mr.?
Just go. I'm gonna left turn you later.
All right.
Now's not the time.
Mr. Matt Snyder
Yes.
is going to be on the call with us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm here.
All right, so hey, we do not have a ton of announcements, but we have the most critical announcement. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So the national conference is upon us. We are mere weeks away from the biggest Renatus event of the year. Now, some of you may be waiting. You may be saying to yourself, yes, I'm coming, but I am going to wait until the very bitter last moment of the early bird pricing before I get my ticket. And that is your prerogative. You are welcome to do so. The early bird expires on February 22nd. I would not suggest waiting until the 22nd of February to get your ticket. Instead, I would actually suggest you get your ticket now, and here's why. You can reserve your seat closer to the stage if you get your ticket earlier. Now, you may say to yourself, yeah, but closer to the stage by a couple of rows or maybe 10 rows closer. The difference is those individuals who are closer to the stage are going to have better opportunity to, I don't even know if I can say that out loud yet.
What were you going to say out loud? Tell us all.
So getting closer to the stage is better.
Okay, fair enough. That's an accurate statement.
That is accurate.
But not a guarantee.
It's a guarantee that you'll be closer to the stage if you get your ticket closer to the stage.
That's probably true.
The part that I want to also impress upon everybody is not just being close to the stage, which is going to be awesome and present some unique opportunities, but I also want to encourage you to get your guests in attendance. So here's the deal. Everybody loves the national conference and they love to say, oh man, it's where the business goes from my head to my heart. It's where you go from understanding what Renatus is and what we're about to really feeling like you're not just a part of the community, but you're an essential banner carrier for the mission that Renatus is engaged in. So now imagine multiplying that by every single guest that you can put in the room. Imagine bringing in individuals to the event who have the opportunity for their first real exposure inside of Renatus to see that transformation in you, to see that transformation in the person next to him, and then to hear all of the stories of how Renatus has absolutely opened doors for individuals and created opportunity for them to take their opportunity more seriously and to transform their perspective on life and business. I'm just thinking to myself about in the last couple of years, we started doing the Real Estate Walk of Fame.
Yep.
And people love to get up there. It's funny. We always say, hey, 4 questions, right? What's your name? Where are you from? How long have you been part of Renatus? How many deals have you done? Those are the 4 questions, right? It should be relatively quick.
Yep.
The first thing that's always blows me away is seeing the line wrap around the room as people stand up to get up and talk about what they've done with the Renatus Education. But then also to hear how individuals are so excited, they can't just keep it to those 4 questions. They have to talk about, not just where they live, but where they actually came from, where they started with Renatus. Then they don't just talk about what their name is, but they talk about the number of people they've gotten involved with. They don't just talk about how long they've been with Renatus, but how long Renatus has been transforming their life. Then they don't just talk about the deals they've done. They talk about the lives they've transformed or been a part of. And that is just, it's an incredible opportunity to sit there and just to see the real estate dream in action. You know what I mean?
You know what's also cool is the line wraps around the room, and then as it starts to get shorter, more people come up because they waited because they're like, that line is way too long to stand in. I'll wait till it's smaller. So the line is even longer than it first appears
Yeah.
in the very beginning.
Yeah. So it's such an awesome opportunity. I wouldn't want any of you to miss being a part of that, but then to miss the opportunity to have your guests visually be able to see that impact. It's good on video. You know, the videos that we've been able to create, they're good.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of times they're cut down too.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that's cut out. Like if you're sitting in the audience and you see that, I mean, it's an hour and 15 or hour and 20 minutes of person after person just literally supposed to be answering those 4 questions. Most people are pretty good at it, but everyone, you know, you get somebody who wants to tell you a lot. But yeah, it's just person after person. It's hundreds of people that go through this line and have talked about what's changed in their life, what kind of real estate they're doing.
And the power that's created off of that conversation is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
The ticket price for a guest is only $30. To get them into the event with all 3 days of training, it's only $30. Now, for the cost, the literal cost of what we're paying for dinner, that's what the upgrade is, to also include the banquet and the award ceremony. That's $65 a plate. So if you want to bring your guests to the National, $30. If you want to include them in the award ceremony, you're going to just pay for their dinner basically, or they're going to pay for their dinner at $65 a plate, which is an expensive plate of food, but it's always good.
It's always good, but yeah, it's pricey, but it is good.
But the award ceremony is, I don't even know that I have accurate words to describe.
That's the thing. You can't describe it. If you haven't been, I really don't know how I could convey it to you. The emotion that you see and the stories you hear, because me even relaying it is not going to be very powerful. But when you get somebody up there who is so emotional that they can barely talk because whatever beginnings they are coming from got started, learned how to invest, and then over the years how that investing in real estate has changed their life and what they're doing now, that, you know, that's everything.
Every time I get up there and think about how Renatus has changed my kids' lives, that's when I start to get a little emotional.
That gets a lot of people, because there were a lot of people who had no future, and now they've got a legacy that they can leave behind.
Yeah, they compare the way they grew up versus the way their kids are now developing because of what they've learned and been able to implement, and it's transformative. It really is.
Imagine being able to hand off rentals to your kids.
Oh man, imagine having your kids at the age of 18 looking for their own deals to get involved.
That is incredible. That's so cool.
Because that's where my kids are at now. Yeah. They're like, hey, I need to get started. Let's do this. And it's like, oh, this is awesome. So that's all about the National Conference. But I want to make sure that you guys are taking serious the opportunity to join us and to have your guests there as well. There is no more impactful room for your people to be, for you to be, if you're looking to increase your belief in yourself and in Renatus. So the cool part is we've started to do this email campaign where we're highlighting the different instructors that are going to be there with us. Mm-hmm. And we've put it up on our social media as well. And it's pretty incredible as you go through the different profiles of people that are going to be speaking, and you think about not just the years, not just even the decades, but literal centuries of experience that are going to be on display, that are going to be there to instruct you. Mm-hmm. It's profound. I mean, I'm thinking about, you've got Brian Sump. He's got 30 plus years now investing in real estate. No, not 30. I'm lying to you. It's 20.
It's
20
probably
plus
20,
years.
It's probably 20.
You got Jeff Armstrong, who's also 25 plus years.
I don't know Jeff's story, but Brian, I mean, was a diesel mechanic when he started. And hearing his story is really powerful. And talk about, hearing
about Jeff Armstrong's very first seller finance note deal that he did. I think he was working at a furniture store at the time.
Nice.
And he was driving back and forth up and down the California freeway trying to make. Anyway, it's a great story. But then you've got Chris Albin. He's been at it for 30 plus years. You've got. It's just, there's so much experience that will be on display.
Oh, tons.
And so much knowledge, institutional knowledge that individuals are going to be sharing. This is going to be unprecedented.
Yes, it will.
Not my favorite word, but I do love that this will be an opportunity completely unique, and we've never done anything like it before. And I'm seriously looking forward to the national conference. So get your ticket, get your guests registered. Now, we did have a hiccup with our registration. Again, I want to take ownership for that because I messed it up. But our amazing team here, including Adam Cloud, was able to go in there and get it all fixed up for us. So now the registration is functioning the way that it should, so that you can get your guests registered for the guest price. You can make sure they include the banquet if they're looking to be at the banquet as well. And my favorite part is that you can actually have your guests in the seat next to you. They also get the assigned seat feature, and they get all the swag as long as swag is available. So all guests are going to get swag for as long as swag is available. If you have a full price ticket, you're guaranteed to get the swag as long as you buy it before March 10th. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm jacked.
But hurry and do so, because what I notice with registrations is it seems like everybody starts buying at the same time. Cause
yeah, we have these like chunks that come in.
Yeah, it's like right when we release, there's a whole bunch that come in, and then it lulls for a while, and then you see a big chunk start to buy again right around the early bird pricing, and then like the week before the national is another giant chunk, and so get it now so that you're going to be ahead of those last two chunks at least.
Yep,
so.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I heard on this latest Invest Edge, and I love the Invest Edge format. I love that we go live on YouTube, and we have practitioners from across our community coming out and talking about what they're doing in real estate today. But Ryan Dodge came out, and he said something that absolutely rang true with me. He said, you could go learn from the University of YouTube, but you're going to find contradicting information everywhere you turn.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, that is funny and true. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring up a couple of videos. I've got 4 videos that I wanted to show that took me 5 minutes to find, 3 minutes to find, just because I was watching multiple videos that show you what kind of information you can expect to find on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Now, I will also add the caveat that each one of these people is right in their own sphere, but without more information, it is funny to see how these opinions differ. So I'm going to go ahead and play a couple of videos for you here, and I want to talk about them just really quickly.
Okay. I haven't seen these, so
here we go.
Let's let them roll.
The 2025 housing market isn't just in crisis, it's experiencing the most severe collapse in buyer demand in over 3 decades. What's even more shocking, the real estate industry is desperately trying to hide a massive, historic demographic shift that's making the 2008 crash look like a mere preview of what's coming. Let me tell you a story about what's really happening in the American housing market right now. Just this week.
So I thought that was interesting. This EconoFin channel with 39,000 subscribers is talking about how the housing market is not just about to crash, but in the middle of a crisis.
Right. Worse than 2008.
Worse than 2008.
Yeah.
And they go on to talk about why, but I thought that was interesting. So then I found this video right here.
Going to crash. Guys, how many times have you heard that the real estate market's going to crash? I think a lot of it has to do with us living through 08, 09 when there actually was a real estate crash. And so we are all sitting around pretty much waiting for that to happen again. But statistically, that doesn't happen. So if you were to pull up a graph, you guys can find this graph. I'll see if I can find the link to put in the show notes. If not, you can do some Google digging and find it. Since I believe it's 1940, real estate in the U.S. at least has gone up every single year except for 7. So from 1940 until today, what is that, 85 years almost? Real estate, 85 out of 100, real estate has gone up in value other than 7 years. Okay. And so what are those 7 years to where real estate did not perform? Well, 5 of them were during the crash. I think it was 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. It either dropped in value, real estate did, or it stayed the same. And then there were 2 random years peppered, between 1940 and today. I think one of them was in the 70s when inflation was crazy. And then another one maybe in the early 90s to where real estate actually didn't lose value, but it stayed the same. But other than that, it has continued to go up. And so we got to stop living with this notion of it's going to crash again. It's going to crash again. What we saw in 08 and 09 isn't commonplace for the economy. Okay.
So I'll just stop it there. I just think it's funny. So this is the Rich Dad channel with 3.5 million subscribers. And you can hear how they are directly contradicting the other channel. Mm-hmm. And it's like both of these are high production value. Both of them are, well researched, and they're going to try to prove exactly why what they're saying is correct. And I just think it's interesting. Now I also want to point out, actually, I'm going to do this at the end of the next set of videos that I have. So that was just one that I thought that was kind of funny. Here's one that is Stephen Graham, or Graham Stephen.
Yeah, Graham Stephen.
I said his name wrong.
Yeah.
Graham Stephen, who is talking about the stock market versus the housing market. And I'm just going to play the video for a minute here, and then we'll play the next video.
For anything purchased on or after 2020, things are a bit mixed. For example, I bought a home in West Los Angeles that underperformed the stock market by about 35%, but my purchase in Las Vegas overperformed the markets by about 100%. Basically, the stock market has been on an absolute tear since COVID, and even when you account for low down payments and low mortgage rates, stocks overall still did better. Although for anything purchased on or after 2021, the real estate winner effect tends to make a lot less sense. Look, as someone who's worked full-time in real estate...
So I just think it's interesting. He's talking about how real estate doesn't make sense, anything that you have bought since 2019, 2020, right? Mm-hmm. Talks about how it's losing. And then I found this clip right here, this reel.
Okay.
What's happening in the real estate market here in 2025? As a real estate investor, it's important for you to know what's going on. As we experienced last year, home prices increase despite the higher interest rate environment. So as these interest rates continue to come down, we anticipate prices to increase at a faster pace. So if you're waiting to get in, now is one of the best times. Not only do we offer a lower interest rate for you, which will be a 5.38% rate at no cost, you're also able to take advantage of the equity growth that is to come, which means your wealth will grow more the longer you hold the property. So if you are interested in learning more, visit us at REI.
So this is really what I wanted to point out about most of the information that you're going to be finding on YouTube. These guys are either sponsored or they are trying to make money. Mm-hmm. So they are either trying to sell something or they are trying to build a community so that they can what's the word? Monetize, so they can monetize their account.
It's obviously it's all for business purposes, which I mean, right? Like that's all of YouTube pretty much. But
right.
But yeah, it is funny to see the contradictions or just different opinions. Really, is what it is. It's just one guy's opinion versus the next, and you're gonna get a whole bunch of different ideas as to what's gonna happen. Yeah. Nobody has a crystal ball.
So each one of these guys is trying to sell you something. They want you to make a decision to either follow them or invest with them or to buy something from them or to reference them. And that's really what's unique about Renatus. With Renatus, you have the opportunity, once you've bought your education and the redemption period has expired, you have the opportunity to enjoy complimentary lifetime access, and there is no upsell. Instead, you're going to get all of the new class recordings that we do, anything that's part of the packages that you've purchased that gets updated, you're going to get that information at no additional cost.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing, and what it does is it creates a non-biased, non-angled information source that we can turn to say, hey, this is what's going on in the market today, without feeling like, oh, am I being sold something, or are they taking a specific frame in order to make me take an action they want me to take.
Yep.
The only action that Renatus wants you to take is to get involved.
Get started.
And I do agree with the one gentleman. There's the two best times to plant a tree are 20 years ago and today.
That is true. Yeah, but really though, when it comes to buying real estate, it seems every experienced realtor that I know will tell you the same thing and of course, these are friends of mine who aren't trying to sell me real estate, right? Like it's just, this is what they've observed, but the best time to buy is now.
Yeah.
Because, the market could dip or whatever, but then it comes back up. And if you look at history and
And it's really interesting because, I was investing through the 2008 crash, and I remember seeing a lot of really educated investors not losing money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people didn't lose money, but for those individuals who had gotten into these properties correctly, that were not just banking on appreciation to be their saving grace,
Right.
but were instead finding discounted deals and then holding them with the perspective of going long term, those individuals were just fine through 2008.
Yeah, the difference was they weren't trying to ride the tide. So
Right.
a lot of inexperienced real estate investors tried to ride that tide going up. It's easy to make money in real estate when the market's going up, but then when it came down, that was their only plan for upside.
Right.
So they got hosed.
Right.
And
they weren't prepared for an eventual correction.
And the people that I saw, because I too, watched a lot of people through that a lot of real estate investors throughout 2008, 9, 10, and they were very savvy real estate investors who purchased right. You can get into all that, but that's what we teach. But as a matter of fact, some of them are instructors for us that I can think of that I watched throughout that time.
Yep.
But if you know how all the pieces on the board move, you can play chess, right? While everybody else is playing checkers. And so that's kind of what I watched with 2008 was the beginners were just riding the upside and like, man, this real estate thing's great. I flipped a house and I made a whole bunch of money because throughout that whole time they were holding it, real estate was skyrocketing. So anyways, you got to buy right. You got to know what you're doing.
That's really interesting. I like that analogy of you're playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers, because the fact of the matter is that most people look at real estate the exact opposite, as how a I don't want to say just seasoned, but a real estate investor who is conditioned. Maybe that's the better way of saying it. A conditioned real estate investor will look at it, because a conditioned real estate investor knows that a market that moves up and down is a market that you can make money in.
Right.
A market that sits flat is the one you want to avoid.
Right.
And yet most people are going to look at it and go, oh, no, I want a flat market because then it's stable and I know exactly what my asset is worth. And it's for those mature, what's the word I'm looking for? Savvy real estate investors.
Experienced.
Yeah, they're the ones who understand, hey, I can ride the up, I can weather the down, and I'll come out just fine on the other side because I wasn't banking on there only being one strategy to exit the property or to make money with the property.
That's a big one. Having multiple exit strategies. Boy, if ever there was advice to come from this podcast pertaining to real estate, buy right and have multiple exit strategies. There's 2 of them. 2
That's
tips.
Right.
Number 3, don't pee in the wind.
That's also a not bad advice. I'm trying to think of how to say that without getting too... Anyway, so here's the point. This is me turning away from Matthew right now, creating a little bit of distance between us.
Oh, that's
I'll
funny.
just talk with you guys,
Yeah.
I'll ignore
I
him.
love it.
This guy over here. But no, I think it's really I think it's really valuable that we all look to sources of information that we know and trust, individuals that we know are going to have our best interest in mind. Those are the people that we should be looking to get the very best information from, and that's what Renatus is all about. So I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to tell you to be very careful as you're listening to people online who are representing a very strong opinion, a very strong perspective, because it's not that they're wrong, but they may have a limited scope of what they're looking at. For example, Graham Stephen, he's primarily in California.
Yeah,
he's not
I think
necessarily looking all over the
Vegas,
US.
but yeah, I think he moved to Vegas for tax reasons a while, like 4 years
Yeah, and then he
back or
moved
whatever.
back.
Did he go back?
He did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Well, yeah. So, the California market's going to be different than,
very true.
than
Very
others.
true. Anyway, yeah, it was just kind of a fun exploration, and it was all because of Ryan Dodge and the Invest Edge. So I want to encourage you guys, make sure that you're getting on the Invest Edge every single week, because it has just become such a profound tool for people to use to get the very best information from people who are making money inside of real estate today, in today's market. They're not going to teach you about a strategy that worked 10 years ago that's no longer legal. That happens all the time, but that's not what the Invest Edge is all about. So I want to encourage you guys to make sure that you're taking that time every single week to get on Invest Edge and listen to what our community members are talking about and what strategies they're employing. But man, just awesome. And I hope I get to see each one of you at the national conference.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Be at the national. Go watch the Invest Edge if you haven't seen it. It is packed with information.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks for being with us, everybody. Don't forget the reason why Renatus rocks is because of the people like every single one of you, like Mr. Matt Snyder, like Mr. Aaron Peterson, the man behind the curtain, that comes together and is a part of our community. It's every single one of you that makes Renatus rock. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you guys next week.